Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for September 2nd, 2021. We're here on CathyDSlaght.com's website. To access the Zoom call, we're going to slide down the website, look for this Zoom banner. Now, this is a demonstration of the SRC4u Zoom call. She has her client lists that you will see. If you'd like to be part of her client list, you can click this banner here, read through the information, and it's a monthly fee. To access the Zoom call, we're going to click where it says click here. This is going to take us over to the Zoom platform where we will open in a Zoom app. It is connecting. We will join with audio.
But I just want to stress, there is a part of what's going on in the world that can be very beneficial because it's causing us to wake up to some things, like what's in our food. And put a few things together, and I was saying I forgot to send the note out yesterday because I'm so used to doing it right after we have our call, and I did not do it, so you'll get an extra long one today. I forgot yesterday. But I wanted to mention just a few things. You know, the way so many of us have been brainwashed, it may be that mainstream medicine is also brainwashed. Because remember who their instructors are, it's the pharmaceuticals. That happened compliments of the Rockefellers, who, I don't know when it was, back in the 1800s, I think, gave huge endowments to the universities that would allow them to have a say in the staff. And so, yes, somebody said something there. But anyway, let's just see where we are with that. So see, as a group, we're pretty much aware of that, probably, otherwise we wouldn't be doing this kind of work. One of the things that's interesting, I was reading, are the lies, outright, maybe we should say misinformation, we've been given compliments of what we consider to be mainstream medicine. One that started a long time ago is to not eat red meat. And it turns out that may not be true. Do your own research. But for example, they have found what we've been taught about cholesterol, it's the opposite. The higher the cholesterol, the lower the mortality. Along with the red meat, of course, they said no fat. Be careful, limit the fat. If we wonder if this has been effective, we might just want to look at the health of those who follow that. We're told, for example, one real benefit, speaking in terms of fat, is MCT. Let's see how we look with that. And I'm going to try to figure out, maybe you'd make the bulletproof coffee and add the MCT that way. I haven't worked with that. Then we've got a couple of other things in reference to the fats. It turns out our brain, and we all know this already, but it just maybe didn't click, the brain is 60% fat. So could this low-fat craze have anything to do with our dementia that we see in such growing numbers in Alzheimer's? This is, again, something worth doing your own research on.
What about the aspirin? Did you skip it?
Yeah. Nope. I'm just doing the red meat first, and then we definitely want to talk about the aspirin. But you see, our cognitive ability is a little stressed there, but it is going up to the 102. Then I wanted to mention exercise again. You might look a few things up and find out all this high-intensity exercise has not been a benefit. You might want to look up all the joggers who have been in pristine conditions, supposedly, that then had heart attacks, etc., etc. So, pardon?
The cortisol that creates when they're running.
Yes. Much of what we've been taught, and this is, I think, part of what COVID-19 might do for us, if we're looking, look at that stress on our muscles, is that we may stop automatically taking what our authorities figure say as the truth. It may be time to not do that. This is just a little bit deeper. Muscle stress, let's douse that code in, and you'll have these codes to work with whatever way you choose. But I know for me, many years ago when I first took care of my parents as they were ill, and then got sick myself, and I started looking a few things up, and I was pretty surprised by the information I saw. So that's the only thing you can do is look for yourself. And some of these things you may want to investigate. Let's just see if we are interested in a code to increase muscle mass.
Cathy, would coconut oil be a good substitute for fat?
It sure would. Yeah, they recommend it highly. There's a lot of good information. Thank you for bringing that up. And I think we can just I did go out and buy some enzymes yesterday, the Enzymatica Digest Gold. Of course, then I promptly forgot to take them. So I'll start today to take them with my meals. And,
did you find out anything about doing the barley for in between?
Not yet, not yet. I'm looking for that. I'm thinking that could be beneficial because we do, if we're going to have to be taking, something in between meals, maybe we could do that with frequency or a smoothie or something like that. Now, here's the thing on the aspirin. Pardon?
I just said yes. I'm sorry.
Good. Okay, no, good. That's what I'm glad to hear. Any voices out there? In reference to aspirin, again, look this up for yourself. There is information that it actually does very little to prevent the heart attacks. But what it does a lot towards is bleeding, brain bleeding. And I didn't see a code for GI bleeding, but it does not appear that we've been in. And you might look up the origins, for example, of Bayer aspirin. You might be surprised to see how active they were in the Nazi segment.
That's confusing to me because when I was getting my IV last Friday, the ER doctor's wife was saying people who had the vaccine are clotting. If they take a baby aspirin a day, that would be helpful.
Well, again, that does
That's what I heard too.
Do test yourself for resonance, but that's not what the information says. Maybe they know something we don't. But
they put me on baby aspirin a long time ago. I've been taking it all the time. So
you might want to, yeah.
My doctor told me I gotta get on a blood thinner, take out the baby aspirin. So he gave me this medication called L-Quiznet, or no. And I'm not too pleased with it either.
Yeah, do your own research. Go in and Google, and of course make sure. Okay. Yeah, test yourself. I'm not one to say go against what the doctor's recommending, but there's nothing wrong with doing a little of research on your own and sharing it with them.
Perhaps in future, with individual DNA scans, we can find those things that are least harmful.
There you go.
Cathy, A blood type tends to have thicker blood than the other blood types. So and then in Singapore, when they did the autopsy on the COVID patient that had died, one of their recommendation was in I can't remember the main thing it was, but to take an aspirin because of the blood clotting, because of course aspirin thins the blood.
Do we know that for sure? We've been told that. Do we know that for sure?
That's why he took me off the baby aspirin.
But where are we getting that information? I'm going to do a little bit more looking up. I'm just sharing with you.
That's probably a good idea.
We have been given so much information, and what if it's not true? What if all along even our doctors believe it, and what if it's incorrect?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, and I don't know either. I don't want to go against my doctor, but I certainly don't want to have brain bleeding or GI bleeding.
Well, I have a doctor who said to me whenever I would go in to see him, he'd get his prescription pad out and he'd start to write. And then he'd look at me and he'd say, "You're not going to get these filled, are you?" I said, "No." He said, "So you know what to look for, herbs and natural, right?"
That's
and I
funny.
said,
Yeah, that's
he
funny.
put his prescription pad aside.
Well, white willow bark, I think, is aspirin, right? White willow. But
Yes, it is.
I think it has to do with quantity. You know, a little bit, but not too much. Maybe.
Do your own research. Yeah, I don't know. But
Vitamin E is a natural blood thinner too.
yeah, it might be interesting to do a little more. I'm going to do it for sure. Research on that, because this aspirin thing has been preached to us forever.
What was that last thing about? Is also a blood thinner right before Cathy spoke?
Vitamin E.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
Seed oil, flaxseed oil,
Mm-hmm.
cayenne pepper. There's so many of them.
Wonderful. Yes. We have a lot of
Nanokinase.
So here we nice resonance with strong, healthy, youthful body. That looks good. A couple of other things here. You might want to look up the blue glasses. I bought some a long time ago and I can't find them, of course. Have to get more, but it looks like one of the most powerful healers is sunlight. And we go back and forth. They have a tribe down in Bolivia that absolutely has no heart disease at all. It's phenomenal. And they have equated that to the fact that they're working on their farms all day in the direct sunlight with no sunglasses or anything.
That is so interesting. I was going out in the sun in the morning before class for about 15 minutes to air out my wound, okay, from the radiation. And I go to wound care and they say, no, you got to keep it covered up. Now I have Pseudomonas infection. They're sending me to an infectious disease specialist and I might have to get IVs. And it was all the time. It was getting better.
The sunlight is powerful, but what happens apparently, and I'm no technical person here on this kind of thing, but we need that sunlight to go in cycles. And so that means, like in my case, sitting in front of the computer all night, that messes it up. So I'm going to have to either look into the blue glasses, which I don't really want to wear, or stop spending the entire evening in front of the computer, or some of you, maybe other things, the TV. Also, you might want to check out red light therapy. Again, now this type 2 cartilage is apparently what the sunlight is helping, among other things. I just made a note of that if anyone wants to research it. Here's another example of blood pressure. They now will apparently prescribe prescriptions if it's 120/80. That is supposedly misinformation. It should be 140/90, but they sold a whole lot more blood pressure medication when they took it down to 120/80. And a couple of things. This, for diabetes, guava, which I don't know even what a guava looks like. They say it's on our produce stands, but you can also get guava leaf oil. They talked again about the real value of the vitamin C IVs. And then they mentioned, for those who aren't getting the sunlight, here is something, they call this the body's solar panel. I haven't had a chance to do much more research, but here's a link that will give you a little bit more information. And of course, there is a supplement. We Americans are great at thinking of those things, but it, among other things, lowers how much insulin a person needs. Clinical improvements in kidney functions. It works with liver cirrhosis, high blood pressure, but look at that, reduced cancer cell growth. And this is really all dealing with the sun and the fact that your body is a solar panel. And so, you know, if you can get out in the sun, that's what you want to do. Here's another thing. This is, however you say it, banana leaf, sometimes called queen's flower. And here's a spot you can get it. And then Marty, you were telling me also, if I can get up here, I may have just messed it up. You gave me another one that I was going to share with someone, and that is, repeat it for me, if you will.
I'm blanked out at this moment.
It was the gross fruit that you can drink in tea form.
To lower to lower, the blood sugar.
Yes.
Bitter melon available in Asian food stores, or you can get the bitter melon tea in the health food store. I think I've sent you a picture of it in your text.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So anyway, going on with that, and then I got an email this morning from a friend that on some things you could do for early COVID treatment, and I said, let me put this on our link, and discovered it was from Scribe. And like I was saying at the beginning, I hadn't realized that we could include document links. So I went ahead. Here is this big book on spirit releasement therapy, if anyone chooses to give it a look. But anyway, what you can do when you get this kind of information, I went ahead. These are some of the high points: normal blood oxygen level, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C. We know these things: quercetin, NAC, whatever that next thing is, melatonin, these antibodies. You can take these things and either make yourself a cocktail with the SRC, or what I did is go into the sustenance balancer and send it to us that way. And so I'll see if Kevin and I can hook up today to so I can share some of these sustenance balancer cocktails. And so we then, I'm getting these emails about people stepping up to fight medical tyranny. And the idea is we don't want to fight anything that lowers our voltage. We want to be for. So, for example, I want medical sovereignty. I want to make my own choices. And so if you put that in, but this fighting has got to stop, I think, because it's completely disabling our power to manifest what we do want. So this might even be a good code to chant. And here is the official SRC4u training. I think you're going to be real pleased with this link. And there's so much out there. This, I think, more than anything, to question is so important at this time, to question what we're told. It talks about in the information on Scribe, do we have a right to question all these immigrants coming over the border that are not even tested for coronavirus? They're not even, and yet our children are masked up and isolated. Are there some things we should be questioning? Well, let's go in
I
here.
would say so.
So let's go in here. Well, as you recall, every time you learn something, the neurons get closer, and the consciousness as a result rises. Now, to me, I'll take any feedback interested. If we don't really need to break all this discarnate stuff down, this search engine is so powerful now. I think we can just paste the whole thing in. Now, if you're working on an individual, you might want to break it down. But we can just paste the whole thing in, as I think we'll find out. Let's go ahead and move on down.
Cathy, I have a quick little story to tell you about this garnet.
Good.
Friday, I was having lunch with my daughter and her partner and my other daughter. I was sitting across the table diagonally from Steve, who is an alcoholic. I noticed him staring at me and smiling, and I noticed his eyes were different. They were not his eyes. Looking, and he kept looking at me and smiling, and I checked on the SRC, and it was my husband.
Whoa.
Was looking at me through Steve's eyes.
Whoa.
And the SRC gave me a confirmation of that.
Yes. Wow.
It gives me shivers. Oh my God.
I got huge chills on that.
Me too.
Yeah, he passed on the 5th of March, and he's around a lot. And I told him when he passed, don't hang around, leave, go to where you need to go. But he's hanging around anyway.
Yeah, there's so much. Here's another example. We've been kind of led to believe even discussing this thing makes you crazy, kind of like a conspiracy theorist, you might say. And as a result, we don't. And then we realized that until they realized they could sell us a few drugs through psychiatry, that was what people did for healing. And apparently, there are still plenty of healers that all they do is clear discarnates. So I don't personally believe it does any harm at all to scan, not even to scan. You can just add the whole list because your energy's flowing anyway. So why not check? And for those who give you permission, if it's your children, as the parent, you automatically have permission. Everybody else you probably have to have. Some people don't agree with that, but that's very interesting, Karen. And we know that when you drink or do drugs or possibly even binge out on a bunch of bad foods, it's like an open invitation according to that material. So
yes. And I told my daughter about it, and I told her she's having some issues and with this relationship, and she said, "Mom, I know he's full of discarnates. He's full of."
Whoa,
right.
Yeah, whoa. Well, notice here now, we're just kind of scanning along. We remember how yesterday we wanted 24 hours in the pathogen panel for non-beneficial programs. We're wanting to clear that further along with non-beneficial vows. So let's go in here. Let's see what Pro Tools we wanted today. Hey, we're asking for the field generator 3 times. So meanwhile, though, I think I will, for now,
Cathy, how do you get that extra times on there?
What extra times?
I don't know how do you do that, because I've never noticed that. When I use that, it doesn't say that.
The pathogen panel?
Yeah, when you say, well, ask for 3 times.
Oh, hold on a second. I'll show you. And look at that. We're just asking for 15 minutes today. What you want to do when you go into your Pro Tool Select, go over here and right-click, and then click Full Client Check.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that wonderful? We have so much. Wait till you see that.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay.
Yep, there you go. I'm sorry. I wish I should have said something earlier. Now, this is the intention statement that I've gone ahead and added, which should not be offensive to anyone. But if you start doing these kind of clearings and write an intention statement, it might take a while, but we've had a lot of positive results with people I'm working with on an individual basis. And what they say, though, whatever, okay, now we're not as high up there today as we were before, so this would be one nice thing to put in the field generator. Let's just go in there and do that. They say there is no mastery without service. So if we go in and we're, wanting an intention for, say, a marriage or maybe money or that kind of thing, we have to figure out how that's going to serve the collective. Let's just put love in there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
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 I know I had a young girl yesterday who wrote such an intention statement, except it was all just money, money, money. And it took a while. Let's see where we are with this. 15 hours. All right. We can do that. And nothing wrong with money. It can be freedom. But there's got to be, it looks like more to it. So let's just go in here and see if we want any of these.
Love it.
This is session startup emotional. And I think we're going to see with these continued upgrades, we may not need as often. Now there's a 71, so we'll take that one. Let's go in here. And you can just about find any type of cocktail. I like to go up here to this top if it'll let me. Come on,
Cathy, one thing about all those things that, what if you don't know what they are?
No, what things are, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, when you go into some of your things that you put on there, like going into different types of things, there's some things in there I don't even know what they mean.
Yeah, well, your subconscious does. Your subconscious is a recorder that has gone, since the moment of your conception, and it looks probably forward in other lives as well. So that's the thing. We don't want to overthink it. At least that's what I believe. But we want the knowledge. Like if we want to drink a little green tea, it's nice to know we can get that kind of information. But we're not doctors.
Kathy?
Yeah.
I think he's speaking about Grandmaster David's cocktails, because remember, I didn't know what they were either.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Some of them I don't even know what they mean. I don't know.
You have to look in the SSTT descriptions file I gave you.
Yeah, but, all right, Kevin, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check that out again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we all have that file?
You should. I'll be glad to send it out. Yeah, I've sent it out a few times, but I'll be glad to send it.
I noticed, though, that on the one you sent me, Kathy, there were still cocktails that were not listed on that.
Oh, with the SSTT?
Yes.
Yes, the newer ones, that's true. The newer ones, but most of them are self-explanatory.
We'll see what we can do to get it complete. SSTs are powerful. Hey, look at that. We want the general option scan, 95% benefit. So let's do that. Remember also, for those of you with the software, you can go in and say priority for Qi about working with different situations. And I went in this morning. We don't know what's true and what's not true. Hold that thought while I go down this list. Well, that's interesting. Let's do it again. Might have to ask a few times. Body parts is a 212.
And rather than true, you might consider optimum.
There you go. What would be the difference?
Optimum for now.
Mm-hmm. We've got several zeros in this personal options. So we've got a number of things today. Let's pull up a new. So we've got, if we go just down to the zeros, state, okay, 2 zeros, state and system. Let's go ahead and do both of those. Anyway, for example, you hear conflicting reports on Afghanistan, and part of those reports involve were the service animals left behind. We hear they were, and then the State Department has said no, they weren't. I went in this morning and just asked priority for Qi to send an SRC session to any service animals left behind, it was a 97% benefit. So on the other computer, I'm doing that. So on and so forth. There's a lot you can do energetically because we are all one. We're all tied into those systems.
Wow.
The personal options scan. And we're okay there. We could see if we want an angel scan. I'm still amazed at how often people want that. And that's just frequencies. The angels represent various frequencies. And, well, we want it. All right, let's go up there. And I think everybody has this. I did send it out. If you're new to the group and don't have it, just let me know. But this is something that clients really enjoy too. And as you can see, angels represent positive, or rather particular energy vibrations.
I'll have to look that up and see if I got it.
Yeah, I'm sure you got it. Unless you're new to the group within the last week, you got it.
I'm new.
Oh, okay. Is that Jen?
Yes, I
Definitely will send it to you. Hi.
you.
Yeah, this one is really thought-provoking. So you got up here, the lowest one so far, 662, the angel of truth and enlightenment. Let's go down here. Here's the angel of discernment, which is at 573. Okay, so let's do angel of discernment. This is really rough. I need to get it cleaned up, but it's a start. There we go. So it looks like we need a little solitude as a group at this moment in time. It may be hard to know the truth when you're running around like a chicken with no head all day. So let's just douse that in. Okay, that's 98% a good thing. Almost looks like we're already doing that as a group, but we did request this. Then train the mind to be prudent and judicious. And this one may be tough because we are so programmed. And like was mentioned many times, they say if you're following a program, you're going to get very angry when anyone gives you conflicting information. It's part of the program. So whatever you least want to hear may be most important for you to hear. Okay, we're taking that one. And what I need to do, I don't always get to this on these calls, but we need to, again, check. Let's just that one down. This is an interesting scan. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. As to our comfort zone, how much of this are we really willing to do? Because it is a little frightening. If you start to question and learn a few things, it can be very stressful also. We don't want the stress of it. But there's a few things to scan for that. Trying to get down here to all right, let's look in here. I mean, we've got our pets. Well, that can't be a bad thing. Also, I was talking with someone yesterday who reminded me that we have a really good home cocktail in here. Let me see if I can pull it up.
What kind of cocktail?
The home. To clear your home. I may not have it in this computer, so I'll have to make sure, or it might be in one of the Pro Tools. I'll have to look for that. This little Zoom thing is really, come on, get down here. Let's just cancel this way. All right. Head on down. Yeah, we may have to focus a little bit on this comfort zone thing.
Laura Lassiter has one for home clearing.
That's the one I must have lost. I may need to get with you on that, Kevin.
Okay.
These are the natural laws that we've worked on a little bit before. I'm trying to get down here to the, may have repeated. Here we go. Don't need images. There we go. I think you'll be finding that this, the way the SRC is even more powerful now. I definitely am going to continue to do these things because I want to know what's going on. But for those who their time doesn't permit, they've got great power in just hitting the wonder click. Let's see. Okay, so we do want a preset cocktail today. Look at that, 0. Let's go on down. And again, we're looking for the lowest number. Emotional empower me is at a 0. Well, let's do that. I didn't mean to. I'm so used to clicking for the additional ones. There we go. So we're set now. Let's see. So we are wanting to preserve options. You see the 92. Let's go. So Kevin, you're saying enhance and hit the wonder click first, or just
Wonder click and then enhance. Wonder click.
Okay, so let's do it.
And then preserve.
Okay, hold on a second. There we go, thanks. Get to going again.
Kevin, is there a reason you didn't get it in that order?
Well, if you don't permit it to scan, it won't give you the options.
There's another thought, though. If you just want to focus on what you've got in there, I don't know why you would, but there is that thought. But yeah, Kevin's right. We don't want to, we don't want to miss what we're supposed to be getting the energy of. Kevin, can you explain this QiGong a little bit better?
That's where we need that glossary.
Yes, yes. I do have a glossary. It's out there. I have to look and see if I've got that in it. I put a glossary in that little download, Clear, Connected, and Empowering. I have to look up and see. I'm sure it must have that in there, but I don't recall.
Yeah, that's new to me. I think Ralph needs to issue the glossary, or Grandmaster David issue a glossary that covers all these things. I've been asking for that for years.
Well, I worked on it, and it was quite a challenge because, as Grandmaster says, he talks to the big head in the sky, and I don't get to do that to my knowledge. So there's a lot of it that is interesting that I personally like to know. I'll text Ralph today. Down here. Do you have any? Here we go. I'm not seeing, even with the theme box, that it's given us, taking us right to the top of this. So, all right. So see right here, dietary. That is our focus, illness and wellness tied to dietary. And doing this just almost every day. This pericardium also is tied in, they say, to relationships. A lot of this stuff is more focused on emotions. Large intestine meridian.
Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. I always wondered what the pericardium is related to.
Yeah. So very often, especially if you have someone who's having relationship stress, it is very interesting to go in here and just do some balancing. 50 minutes. Metal calming, so in reference to the large intestine and skin. And what am I trying to say? Large intestine, skin, and lungs. Sublimation, agonized, words to ponder. Asking the boss for a raise may not be patriotic, but it will help the government with the extra tax if it comes off. So again, we may want to start questioning some of these things. Angry, empathetic, clear, mopey, all these things are being worked on. The resistance factor, it is external. So if we go in, we know we're wanting to do the field generator a few times today. We have quite a few cocktails in here. Do you have any particular, let's just go down. Can you see this? Maybe you can't see it. We have a one, for example, for a better world, which might be appropriate. A powerful field of sovereign divinity now surrounds me. A prayer for our leaders. Accept what cannot be changed. Achieve what is desired. Any requests as I go down this list, or shall we just pick something?
Anoint happiness and dump grief.
I like that one too. Let's do it. All right.
There's just so many people dealing with loss.
Absolutely. You got it. You got it. And then let's see one more.
I just heard a wild one today that somebody's going to have on our show. She works in labs and she's working with nano, and one of the aspects of nano raised up and looked at her. She was like, "Oh
dear, oh dear."
I know. It's just that. Well, I mean, it's that sentience that's part of all that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait until the other two are finished, and then we'll do one for clear all non-beneficial frequencies. Let's see how long we're going to take, but I'm not going to start it until the other 25. We're pretty balanced here. So, oh, gotta add that. Harmonized environment makes sense. I think one thing we're learning is we do have the ability to take action on these things in a positive way. So, for example, I'll call Dr. Kersey and get some information on this board, and you might be able to even just clear with your SRC. You know, obviously we're not going to go out of our way to eat a lot of preserved junk food, but at the same time, you can't. You know, we're not going to live in a bubble. And we're clearing attack scenario and past experience. And this is an interesting one too. I'll finish up with this one, just to see where we are. Because according to that book on the discarnates, this is a big deal. Clear past life trauma. We did this one yesterday too.
Cathy.
Yeah.
You know, discarnates can be a big deal.
Well, yes, that's what it, and by the way, we're taking 20 hours for that. So yesterday was a very short time. Maybe we were kind of testing the waters. But that's what I'm learning, is that this is a huge deal and not to be left out of our work. It doesn't have to be all we do, but it could be that this kind of energy prevents a real powerful session.
I hear you.
Yeah. Anything I forgot? Anything to add?
Can't think of anything.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys being here. And, oh, one last thing. In reference to red meat, I talked with a few people about it, and they said they couldn't eat red meat or any type of steaks because of their teeth. So tomorrow we're going to start working on our teeth. So take it easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Cathy.
you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Cathy.
Bye-bye.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call for September 2nd, 2021. Thank you for attending. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.